3 years ago, I visited Colchester United FC. The club was in the midst of a relegation battle, finishing 15th that season, and the following two campaigns only got worse with 20th and 22nd place finishes. The Essex club were on the brink of non-league football for the first time since the 90s. Over the past year though, there has been a complete turnaround. In January 2024, the club brought in former Huddersfield Town and Portsmouth manager Danny Cowley. He kept the club up in the Football League on the final day of the season, and the last campaign did even better. The U's finished 12 places higher in 10th, just 3 points off of the playoffs. They went on a 13-game unbeaten run at one point, earning Danny Cowley the League 2 Manager of the Month award, and this coming season they're expected to challenge for the title. It's not just on the pitch where the club has improved either. When I came back in 2022, less than 3,000 fans showed up. Last season though, games saw on average crowds of about 5,000, with over 7,500 turning up for the last two games of the season. So far this season, over 2,500 season tickets have been sold, which is around 10% more than last season and breaks all club records. I spoke to Danny Cowley to find out more about the club's turnaround. So Danny, first of all, when you first joined the club back last year, could you just take me through your initial assessment? What were the immediate things you had to do to try and turn it around?
Well, I think for us now, 18 months in the job, I think obviously when we first arrived, our feeling was just to try to reconnect the club, and I think you do that by trying to find a way of playing winning football. And of course, I think when we arrived, maybe the team had suffered a little bit and had lost 11 out of 12 and was sitting at the bottom of League 2. So really, as well as the reconnection with the supporters, there was a lot of work to do inside the club, and just to try to help the players and support the players, try to find a way of playing that suited the players' profiles and the characteristics that they have. And I think if you can do that, then slowly but surely their confidence comes back. Yeah. And we saw this, I think, in our first season. We joined in January, and we were able to stop the team from losing. Maybe we don't win as many games as we would have liked. We drew a lot. I think because probably we couldn't find ways of keeping clean sheets with that group, and probably we didn't have more than one goal in us. So hence the reason there was probably a lot of 1-1 draws. But we managed to stay up, which was important, because that really gave us the opportunity to push on. And I thought we saw that last year. We were able to recruit intelligently, bring a lot of Essex boys back to the club. Yeah. So location helped us in terms of recruitment. It took us a little bit of time to get going, which it often does when you make as much change as we did. Yeah. But yeah, we found our feet maybe mid sort of end of October, and were able to really push on from there.
Last season was a massive improvement, but people are expecting you to go even further now, maybe even push for promotion. What are a few of those areas that you really need to focus on now in order to change it from mid-table to challenging for the title?
Well, absolutely, this is our ambition. I don't think this will be easy. We're obviously in a process at the football club where at some point we'll be taken over. I think Robbie, our owner, who's done a brilliant job at this football club, has been quite public in explaining that. Yeah. And of course we have some challenges to overcome as a consequence, and we're just doing all we can to work with Robbie to try to make the club, as we know how attractive it is from the inside looking out, but to try to make it as attractive as we can from the outside looking in. And yeah, this is our ambition. And of course, if you can find a way of winning regularly, this normally creates a real feel-good factor, and yeah, of course, a really attractive football club.
And you mentioned the fans earlier. I mean, last season, those last few games, over 7,000 people. How important has their support been, and what's your sort of message to them to continue?
Incredible, that? Yeah. I think 92 professional clubs in this country. and I think we were in the top three in terms of attendance increase,
Wow.
a percentage increase, which is just a monumental effort from the people of Essex. And yeah, we're so grateful. You know, it's such a privilege to wake up every morning and do a job that we know means a work in a job that means so much to so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
people. So yeah, we feel really privileged, and yeah, we just thank them for their unconditional support. And yeah, I'm sure they know, but we're going to be giving everything we can to try to make this a really enjoyable season.
Some managers I've spoken to in the past have had that sort of goal. They want to hit 80 points this season, 90 points this season. Would you say you're like that? Do you look in the long term, or are you more game by game?
I just like this as a goal. I like to wake up on a Monday morning and do everything I can to win on a Saturday, and then I like to go home, wake up the next Monday morning, do everything I can to win on a Saturday, and I think what a great target that is. Just keep working towards the next game and keep trying to win every game, and that really is our ambition.
I then spoke to John from the Blue White Army fan group. Right, so first of all, could you just walk me through some of the changes that the club has experienced over the past year or so and how the club has turned around?
Obviously the Cowleys come in and it galvanised people because people have heard of the Cowleys. I think you can be anywhere in the football league, probably Premier League, and people would have heard of them. So we got a bit of energy off the back of that. The results were okay. It looked like we were going to go into another relegation scrap, and genuinely, probably last October, November. We were playing a weird formation at times, and it looked like the Cowleys were experimenting. It didn't look like some of the signings were quite right. But then results just prior to Christmas went nuts, and after Christmas, and that helps any football club winning games. It just feels like it's our time to do something. I think that sits quite neatly over a renewed BWA, which I'm part of. So we do flags and stuff on a match day, one-off displays, things like that. TIFO, we've been a TIFO group for nearly 20 years.
I know you said it's obviously not all about the manager, and of course that's true. But would you say that, he's especially Danny Cowley as the main manager, he's been there for about a year, just over a year now. Would you say that's brought in some stability, much needed stability?
Yeah, I think when you look at the Cowleys, either or, to be honest, they bring it is it's weird when you see it from outside because you know they're a pair, but only probably when they're at your club, but you can kind of see the impact. The Cowleys look like they're a bit more clued up, as they should be, because they've been at Concord, Braintree, Lincoln, and had success. And they're going to fight for you, they're going to fight for your club. They say the right things, they do the right things. On a match day, you can see that Nicky, probably Danny as well, but certainly Nicky likes to wind up the opposition, and that's something fans get on board with, don't they? Rightly or wrongly, they do, because they can see that they're fighting for your club.
You mentioned the fans earlier as well, how great they've been. I know the manager and his staff have been so happy with the fans too.
You'd have seen the difference. Like it's chalk and cheese. You know, the gates have fluctuated at the new stadium. And just to give a bit of backstory, what it was like pre-COVID, having been around 3 to 4 thousand, which most fans would admit, and probably people in the local area would admit, it was a little bit disappointing. And even, to be honest, 5,000 was a bit disappointing, given where the club is and the local area and the catchment. But yeah, I mean, obviously now we've got well, the average last year was frustratingly 4,998. Towards the end of the season, as you said, we were getting 7,000 for some games. I mean, we were even selling tickets in the North Stand, which is unheard of. But it does point to something a lot of fans feel. There's a lot of potential at the club. We've got a massive growing catchment area. There are a lot.
Finally, this coming season, it's been a bit sort of mixed, the predictions from fans, especially ones that aren't Colchester United fans specifically. But is your expectation, is the fans' expectations promotion, at least making the playoffs, or is it even further than that?
I think the fans' expectations are probably a bit like the pundits and outsiders. It's a bit mixed. Obviously, you're always going to have your optimists. I think the general consensus, funny enough, I said this on BBC Essex earlier, if you look at the polls that are going around amongst the fan groups, it's somewhere between 12th and 8th. So if you land on 10th, you're probably not going to be far off where the fans think our squad is. Personally, I think we need a bit more. But in terms of what the fans probably expect is progress again. If you're always moving up, you're moving in the right direction, and that's all you can hope for. I think a lot of fans would like us to get the playoffs. We've not done it. No Colchester United fan has attended a playoff game since the 90s. To put that in perspective, I'm 36. The last time Colchester United done it, I was 9. It just highlights how desperate fans are for some degree of success.
Well, I've had a fantastic afternoon here at Colchester United. In the end, it was a 2-2 draw against Peterborough United, and it was a very intense, fast-paced, and at some points very unfriendly, and I think this does set them up well for what should be a very successful and positive season, and I wish them the best of luck, of course. Thank you very much to David, the media guy here at Col United, for arranging my day. A big thank you as well to Danny Cowley for his time too, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.